So that's where it was. Fiona? What are you doing here? It's my first time seeing these little guys. They're from that land, right? They're so cute. Alice put a version of the cat's tail here and asked me to run it. It has the setup I'm used to and everything. Now, all I need to do is make some drinks. And you know what? This is the perfect chance to change all the ingredients to super weird stuff. I'll get people to lose interest for sure. Looks like your campaign is going strong, huh? Even out here. Of course. The only thing missing is the cats, actually. They seem to prefer the real cat's tail. But that's not a huge surprise. Cats are sensitive about where they live. Even if the place looks exactly the same, they'll know something's off. So, Alice said she would find different staff instead. And then these little saurians appeared. Aww. Bennett gave me a few pointers on how to get along with them. Turns out, there's not a huge difference between them and a cat or a dog. Hey! Then you should call this place the Saurian's Tail instead. Weird. Did monsters always raise boars around here? Found it! Barbara, over here! Coming! Oh, how did this happen? Barbara and I were just grabbing some food at Good Hunter. But then, how do I even put this? The sweet madame and sticky honey roast we ordered came to life. Sorry, what? That's right. I managed to catch the sweet madame earlier. Come on, let's wrangle this thing so we can head back and eat. Wait, what? Uh-oh. What is it? More pigeons and forest boars! The rest of our lunch is making a break for it! Fatui tent? That shouldn't be here. Wait, but there are always those two Fatui around here chatting about stuff.
You've noticed them too? I've been watching them for a long time. Not that I've overheard anything useful. Guess it's just my luck.
Well, actually, they seem to get information a bit slower than the Knights of Favonius. So they usually end up discussing stuff that hasn't been secret in a long time.
Have you guys ever wondered why they don't just go home? Their mission's gotta be over at this point, right?
Maybe their names got skipped over on the mission roster, so they never got new orders. That's happened to me before.
I suppose, but your experiences tend to be quite unique. It's possible the Fatui stationed them here long-term to keep an eye on things. Or maybe they volunteered for this position because they don't want to go back.
Either way, we should have Nicole take this tent down. It's making Paimon think we're gonna have to fight someone.
I guess you're right. We don't want people getting their hopes up.
Hey there, friend! Well, we couldn't just drag Catherine in here, could we? What would the Real Adventurers Guild do without her? Not that she ever shows it on the outside, but she's one busy bee, that's for sure. I mean, just think about how much time it must take to travel between all the different nations. Anyway, I heard this whole world was constructed for magic. Incredible stuff. Even the books on this shelf are real. Not a single prop to be found. Huh. I really gotta take a better look around once this gig's done. Not today, I'm afraid. The funds I need haven't transferred in yet. Once I've earned enough more from this trip, I'll open up shop at the usual spot. True, but it doesn't seem like the people who created this place set up anything like that. Hey, why don't I go ask for some and then we all can have a few? Huh. But could we even take them back into the real world? That's the question.
Huh? None of these flowers look local to Mondstadt. Wait, Emily? Huh, it's been a while.
Hello, you two. Looking to buy some flowers? Yes, I came to Mondstadt to collect a few samples for new scent ideas, but I wasn't finding anything. Then, this lady who called herself a mage told me she had a bunch of rare plants she was sure I'd never seen before. All I have to do is manage this flower shop, and I get to research these plants all I want.
Nice! That should help you come up with something new for sure.
If there's one trait they have in common, I think it would be the feeling of summer. Refreshing and clear, cutting through the full-bodied and dreamlike floral notes. I certainly have a lot to research, so I think I'll be here for a while. Did you need anything?
We're looking for things in here that are different from the real Mondstadt. Do you mind if we take a few pictures of these plants? Hey, since you like them so much, why don't we ask Nicole if you could preserve them in some way?
Really? That would be amazing. This is my payment after all.
Such a succulent fragrance of grapes. Ah, this place is heaven. Had I a mouth that could move, I doubt I could resist eating them right off the vine.
This is awesome.
Whoever lives in here must be a person of means indeed. Even in a storybook world like Simulonka, we can never afford such a big estate.
Wait, but this is a world inside a story too, isn't it? Oh, hello! Is something wrong?
My apologies, but the event taking place at Dawn Winery is not open to the public quite yet. Allow me to show you around a different area.
Ah, I see. That's unfortunate.
Oh, it's Noelle! Hey there! Oh, hello, you two. Well, Miss Alice thought things might get complicated around here, so she said she needed someone capable who could get the job done. So she flattered her way into dumping a bunch of work on you? Stuff that isn't even related to the Knights at all? Oh, no. Mr. DeLuke was there too. He said he would appreciate some help guiding the tour groups from different worlds that are here to visit. Tour groups from different worlds? Oh, right! The Golden Apple Archipelago, the Relurian Mirage, Simulonka. The gang's all here! Oh, it's all right. I'm happy to help. Please head this way, everyone, and we'll get the tour started.
Greetings. My name is Ask Me for Directions Arnold, and I am searching for the whereabouts of a certain lovely lady.
I heard this thing was terribly ineffective when first invented. You could only catch 10 in a week. Why, the research staff barely wanted to touch it, let alone improve it.
But for some reason, it gained traction among adventurers once it entered the market.
True, it takes time. It beats having to do it yourself, I suppose.
But there are so many crystal flies around here. Surely it's not that difficult to just do it the old-fashioned way?
It's a bit far, though. Just imagine how tiresome it was back in the day, having to come out here over and over again, and no gadget to help. Does that count as trespassing on private property, I wonder?
I suppose it hardly matters anymore. Adventurers aren't quite so keen on crystal flies nowadays.
The times they are a-changin', eh?
So it would seem.
What are they mumbling about?
Oh, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
Something wrong, Sucrose?
Oh, no. I was just looking for a piece of alchemy equipment we needed for the event. Master Albedo has always been careful with our costs. We maximize the use of every piece of lab equipment we have. So if something hasn't been used in a while, it's usually pretty old. Take this, for example. We've used it a few times before, but we found the effectiveness and ease of use somewhat lacking, so it was sidelined quite quickly. According to the mages, it was meant to be placed in the city, but it went missing after being tossed into the magic bubble. Luckily, I found it. I just don't know why it ended up here of all places.
Well, all that matters is that you found it in the end, right? We'll contact Nicole and get her to send it back to the right spot.
Great. Thank you so much.
Another tent? Huh. This one's kinda nostalgic too.
It's here because I refused to let that mage use my house as her playground. But we still needed an additional rest area for the guests, so we set up this tent instead.
Looks like we can use this device to keep in touch with the mages or get some hints. Kinda like we were able to do back then, remember?
Now that you mention it, the arrangement is almost identical.
Nights on vacation, summer, the sea, and a small little wave rider. It's all taking me back.
However, you're forgetting about the part where we were stranded on a deserted island and couldn't even make it across the water. That's what stuck with me the most.
Oh, I remember. At least I wasn't dead weight in that situation.
Fun times, huh? So, the mages prepared this stuff then. Guess we should take a picture and go check in with them.
Be my guest.
You know, the expedition in Nod-Krai is coming to an end, but knowing Grandmaster Varka, I imagine there will be another chance to set off in the near future. Not that I'm extending an invitation, I'm just mentioning the possibility, that's all. That's our honorary knight. No matter the mission, you always have a place among our ranks.
Come talk to me when you do have an official invitation, then. I have other things to do in the meantime. The intel I have on hand is pulling me in 100 different directions, but unfortunately, time off isn't one of them.
That's It's a shame. I take vacation whenever I can get it, and it's still never enough. I'd visit the Golden Apple Archipelago again in a heartbeat.
For once, I feel the same.
A tent tortoise? That shouldn't be here at all.
Definitely not.
Wow! I've never seen such a large turtle in my life. There was a time, back when I was little, when almost every child in Mondstadt had a turtle as a pet. It was quite the trend.
Oh, yeah! Gene and Diluc mentioned that a long time ago.
I had one too, of course.
Quite the hassle to take care of. Small pets like that always are.
Wait, you had one too?
Is that so strange?
Oh, no, of course not.
I could bring it back to the church and raise it. It can stay behind the cathedral. I'll even build it a pool. Can't be too hard to raise, right? It looks like a tough cookie.
Not happening. The next thing you know, you'll have an invasive species on your hands. Just tell that mage to put it back where she found it.
Guess that's for the best.
Can't be too hard to raise, right? It looks like a tough cookie.
Not happening. The next thing you know, you'll have an invasive species on your hands.
Surge!
Light compels you!
Smite the dust!
Whoa, a new moon rises.
Annihilation mode.
Behold the dawn!
Without further ado.
Surge, a moonlit night for all.
Cleanup sequence initiated.
Light compels you!
Divine light, shield them! Smite the dust! Smite the dust! The sky's clear, the glazed moon shines!
You got this! Be gone, Shadow!
Wane, a new moon rises.
Light compels you!
Be cleansed!
Surge.
Be gone, Shadow of Darkness! Go to...
Lofty wisdom will show us the way! Without further ado.
Yoo-hoo! Let the world come alive!
A little amuse-bouche! Goose on the loose!
Witness the power of Pooh!
Surge! Yeah! Ha! Ja! Yeah! Ja! Ja! Ah! Ha! Ja! Yeah! Ha! Yeah! Ha! Ja! Ah! Ha! Ha! A dash of
Time to shine!
Rain Cutter!
the pinnacle of excellence!
Yeah.
Yeah! Ha! Ha! Yeah!
To the
Strike a pose! Let my name echo in...
witness the power of Pooh!
A burst of flavor! Yeah!
Mine to wield.
A dash of frosting! The pinnacle of excellence! Rain cutter! No, my sword! Annihilate! Let me weave you a verdict. Merciless. Into the void.
Mine to wield.
Strike a pop! A dash of Rain cutter!
Rise with the...
Let the mountain's veins boil!
Tell me what you see.
Let's fly! Locked on! Bullseye!
Light it up!
Farewell.
Ha! Locked on! Locked on!
Bring it! Let engraved names echo!
Go! You're free now!
Hold on to your hats.
Pyroclastic surge! Full throttle! Hear the echoes of the valley!
Burn it down!
Time to say hello.
Knock them down. Let's fly!
Bring it! Rise with the sun!
Take me up! Bullseye! Bullseye!
Wrath from the skies!
Defensive mode engaged.
Wayne, a moonlit night for all. Flash attack!
Be silent. Observe. Night falls. Be silent. To dust. The night cometh.
Whoa. 3 moons converge.
Cleanup sequence in.
Chew on this! Look, a rainbow! Wayne, a new moon rises.
Installation check.
Ding dong!
Observe. Beware the creatures of the night. Be silent. Do you fear the dark? Observe. Do you fear the dark?
Look, a rain... Surge.
Defensive mode engaged.
Ultimatum protocol.
3 moons converge.
Be silent. Night falls.
A new moon rises.
Cleanup sequence in.
Flash it!
The night cometh. Close your eyes. To dust. Be silent. Night falls.
A moonlit night for all.
Installation chamber.
Good luck! Ding dong!
Close your eyes. Beware the creatures of the night.
Good afternoon, traveler. I didn't expect the honor of witnessing your harmonizing talents here in Mondstadt. Both, actually. A lady calling herself a mage asked me to come manage her flower shop. At about the same time, the Cat's Tail commissioned me to create a new fragrance for their establishment. Ending today's busy schedule with a drink crafted by you in person is truly a wonderful reward. I have faith in your choice.
Care to give this a try, Miss Emily?
Your artistry is truly a pleasure to watch. This tastes like a local variant of a Lumiduce Twilight. Am I right? The gentle and elegant taste, with its distinct layers combined with a hint of Mondstadt's characteristic scent, offers quite a welcoming flavor, all the while avoiding potentially discordant aromas. Though in reality, there's no need for you to be so conservative. I have quite a high tolerance for flavors that stray outside the boundaries of conventional wisdom. Your drink was nice, but it would be perfect if you could make one with a little more depth. A cocktail that shows off your unique understanding and enhances my impression of Mondstadt. If you need time to mull things over, perhaps you might find inspiration in a little light conversation? Oh, thank you for asking. It's been going well, though this trip to Mondstadt has presented some unexpected challenges. When I first got here, I was relying on a copy of An Overview of Aromatic Substances and the human senses to identify promising local ingredients from the Mondstadt region. To my surprise, my trial fragrance, which used valberry as the primary note, proved far too sweet in the context of a tavern, relaxing people so much that they ended up feeling drowsy. The bartender with the beautiful ears, for instance, fell asleep right at the bar. Let's just say that sweetness isn't always a case of the more the merrier. Maintaining an appropriate balance is beneficial for both body and mind. Even in daily life, I rarely eat sweet food, and I try to avoid fruits like berries that have a high sugar content. In the end, I completely eliminated valberry as an ingredient and turned instead to windwheel aster, with some success, I might add. They're part of my reward from the flower shop owner. Important ingredients for making perfumes. Thanks to these, I was able to complete my commission for the cat's tail. I studied Mondstadt's Cecilia flowers many years ago. In fact, the fragrance of Cecilia in certain fields has become synonymous with Mondstadt itself. However, this is a special case. Some cats are quite averse to the scent of Cecilia, and we need to be particularly mindful of their preferences. Windwheel aster. The various parts of the windwheel aster plant can be ground into a powder to extract their essences. I then blended the scents from its petals and leaves. The result carries the intoxicating sweetness of mead, while still emphasizing the fresh notes contained within the flower's stems and leaves. I just took it for a little trial run at the cat's tail, and the cats seemed to really like it, while the clients themselves found it comforting and invigorating. Extracting exquisite fragrances from ordinary overlooked ingredients? Oh, that's what truly brings me joy. Usually, after work, my friends from the Maison Gardiennage sometimes treat me to a few drinks. I usually stick to fruit tea. That way I can get straight back to work after our gatherings. If it's before a holiday and my friends are in high spirits, I sometimes order a small glass of sparkling fruit wine. There was an officer named Terena who used to treat me to aged Corte wine. But since she was transferred to the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, we haven't had the chance. In the world of science, high-proof alcohol is a widely used solvent. I've grown well accustomed to the smell of it by now. Besides, when I'm slightly tipsy, my state of mind changes, which in turn alters my approach to perfumes. It doesn't matter if the result is good or bad, it's all about trying something new. So I don't mind drinks with just a little bit of alcohol, but I don't like anything too strong. It really is. A while earlier, I watched a whole run of fair weather clouds float by, fluffy as pillows. It's not overly humid either, and the wind is gentle too. In such conditions, one's sense of smell is heightened, but not to an excessive degree. When scents are blended well, they naturally combine with the ambient context, leaving particularly powerful impressions. It seems something similar is true for mixology. As long as you choose a base of appropriate strength, the various flavors will blend seamlessly together. When mixed properly, all the ingredients work as one to create a most wonderful symphony for your taste buds. Yes, that's it. Now I think about it, layering distinct flavors doesn't really suit my personal preferences. Just from our brief chat, you've already formulated a new concoction. Perhaps you possess a natural talent for this kind of creative work.
Here you go. A new and improved, Emily-inspired Lumiduce Twilight. I haven't come up with a name for it yet.
The colors are cooler and more refreshing, and the fragrance is delightfully subtle to match. Are these bright specks on the surface the crushed petals and leaves of windwheel asters? I'm sure it must taste wonderful. Let me try. In the language of flowers, the windwheel aster represents the visible winds. Your cocktail not only captures their form, but also the fragrance they carry. Therefore, I suggest you call this drink Windborne Bouquet. The winds and clouds of Mondstadt swirl together in the glass, leaving behind enchanting traces of fragrance. Really? Perhaps it's just a habit of my profession. I'm glad you like it. Now it's time to slowly savor this masterpiece. Thank you so much. This trip to Mondstadt has been so rewarding. This is the most memorable cocktail I've ever had. Once I get back to Fontaine, I will attempt to recreate this moment as both a fragrance and a perfume. Once I've perfected the recipes, I hope you'll do me the honor of being the first customer to experience these new products. Until then, I look forward to seeing you in the Court of Fontaine.
So you're looking after the drink stand now. If I'd known sooner, I would have stopped by this morning. I've got to say, I'm getting curious. I've heard a lot about your mixology skills. I wonder what kinds of drinks you can mix with the ingredients Glenfiddich has prepared. I don't have much of a choice. It's just one thing after another right now. First off, the Knights of Favonius annual combat assessment is coming up. And this year, the standards are higher than ever. As the captain of the reconnaissance company, I have to lead by example. At the very least, I need to rank as one of the top 3 captains in the practical portion. So, I've been intensifying my training lately. Being a descendant of sinners means I have to work hard to maintain my position. I'll have you know I've never once neglected my duties. Anyway, on top of all that, my duel with Miss Clorand required a lot of focus and energy. Learning how to turn defense into attack and seize the initiative when facing a combined assault from sword and musket. Even now, I'm still chewing through the details. But in the end, the exchange went well, and both parties learned a great deal. Never mind writing reports from 6 different perspectives. I feel like there's enough worth mentioning to write 24 of the things. Oh, I sure could. Anything that'll perk me up would be welcome. I'll leave the details to you.
one twinkling starlight for Captain Eula. Hope you like it.
Judging by your confident tone, I'm certain I will. Well then, I'll make sure to savor this thoroughly. Not bad. Sweet and tingly, with a delightful airiness. The fizzy water really brings it to life. I suddenly feel full of vim and vigor. But just one glass doesn't quite scratch the itch. How about something with a bit more bite? Don't hold back. You don't need to worry about putting me on the floor with nothing but a couple of drinks. Works for me. The first company hasn't assigned me any paperwork for tonight, so I'm free to catch up and try your new creations at my leisure. That's right. The merchant I got it from called it Romaritime flower fruit extract. It has a very unique smell. Here, have a bottle. Oh, it's a necessary courtesy. In that book Miss Magistus lent me, The Blade Dancer, 20 years on, it says, after a duel, a Fontanian swordsman will politely invite their defeated opponents to a banquet. To properly play host to Miss Clorand, I searched for quite some time to locate a rare goods merchant in Dorman Port who sold this juice. I had my doubts at first, too. But Amber said something that makes a lot of sense. She said that even if this custom doesn't really exist, following it still shows I've made an effort to understand Fontaine's cultural heritage. Besides, who doesn't like trying new things, right? When I gave it to her at our post-training banquet, Miss Clorand really did enjoy this juice. If you want to know what I've been eating recently, I'd better start by mentioning the logistics company's latest revolution. They launched a diet improvement initiative and started distributing a form of standardized canned food to knights operating in the wilderness. In the past, we only had dry rations. Every mealtime we had to set up pots and campfires, roll dice to choose a cook, and take turns standing guard. In all honesty, it was a bit of a hassle. Now we just need to bring our standard field rations, comprising of 5 cans and 9 paper packages. We can heat the cans by the campfire, and then we're ready to eat. You did say, sounds like, right? Our canned food supplier has quite the stellar reputation, and their regular meals are indeed quite good. The problem is, in order to meet preservation standards, they have to make their military-grade meals way too salty. The vice captain of the 5th Company, who has a somewhat dry sense of humor, went so far as to say, this food's bad enough to bring down the wrath of Liyue's stove god. In any case, after eating it for a week, my taste buds have gone completely numb. You can hardly blame the logistics company. After all, it is hard to please everyone. Our feedback has already been submitted, and they should be working on fixing the issue. Of course, having fresh meals prepared in camp by a dedicated company chef is still the best option. Yes, I have. For a while, the situation there was difficult. A gang of outlaw engineers was messing about with some sort of mechanism control technology, attempting to manipulate ruin graders so they could rob merchant caravans. To make matters worse, several veteran knights who had been stationed at Dorman Port were transferred to my squad, and they weren't happy to be taking orders from that Lawrence girl. Leading them on this mission was quite eventful. It took 3 weeks of stealth operations in the snow, with no fires to keep us warm, before we finally located the enemy's stronghold. Those veteran knights faced the bitter cold and were almost taken down by the enemy's smuggled battle mechs. Fortunately, the battle went our way, and they had no choice but to acknowledge my abilities. Me? I'm completely fine. But thank you for your concern. It was mentally tiring for sure, but fortunately, the operation wore them down far more than it did me. They won't be questioning my authority again anytime soon. If any new recruits try to make my life difficult, I'll just have my veterans give them a few friendly pointers. I guess you could call them a permanent solution, huh? Oh my. To be honest, before we crossed swords, I was feeling eager, but also a little nervous. Miss Cloran's combat style comes from the mysterious Marechaussee hunters. In the library, there are some old Fontanian newspapers from hundreds of years ago that give some idea of how formidable an organization it was. A more recent newspaper claimed that Miss Cloran was an orphan from an underwater kingdom, and that before battle she would perform rituals inviting spirits to possess her sword. Certainly, from my own experiences, Miss Cloran's abilities more than match those descriptions. Incorporating elements of swordsmanship into a drink? Huh. Certainly a creative idea, I'll give you that. A commemorative cocktail at a time like this sounds nice, but how do you plan to express something like swordsmanship with a drink? That definitely matches the description I read in that book. That's right. You really know your stuff. I doubt there's anyone else in Ala Tevat who could come up with such a perfect metaphor. There's no need to make it sound so fancy. It's just an aristocratic variant of Favonius bladework, with a bit of personal flair. Firewater. In recent years, firewaters gained popularity the world over, following in the wake of prosperous Snezhnayan merchants. These days, almost every tavern has a signature drink that uses it as a base. You really are good. Why don't we try replacing the fruit wine with firewater? As for the alcohol content, that's not a problem. Plenty of the expedition team may have drunk themselves senseless with firewater. But me, I'm full of confidence. Brilliant! I'm looking forward to seeing how you do.
Here's your all-new Seafoam Sword Song, mixed to meet your personal preferences.
Oh my, what beautiful colors! And you even added my Romaritime flower fruit extract. The aroma is perfect, and I can smell the alcohol, but it doesn't stifle the fruity fragrance. Let's see how it tastes. Give me a moment to come up with the right words. I need to think carefully. I know it's unbecoming of a lady, and a proper connoisseur would savor their drinks slowly. But I'm sorry, this is just too good to be true. Can you mix me another? Ah. Oh, no, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh, whatever. I feel fantastic. This cocktail. Oh, it's the best I've ever had. I think I'm gonna head home and get some sleep. Don't worry about me. This is the happiest tipsy I've been in years. I'm still far from being drunk. By the time I've written up those reports for my exchange with Miss Clarend, I'll have been on duty for 3 months straight. Jean, the acting grandmaster. Isn't it about time she gave me some time off? I won't be forgetting this injustice in a hurry. You mark my words.
Suspicion confirmed. While patrolling the area, I was sure I'd sensed a familiar presence, so I came over to take a look. And sure enough, here you are. If Miss Charlotte were to see you like this, I'm guessing she'd take 100 pictures and write up a report. Sword-wielding traveler's secret side hustle. Exclusive cocktails from Tevat's Explorer Extraordinaire. You'd make the front pages of every major newspaper. And there'd be crowds of Fontanian tourists flocking to your drink stand, causing gridlock on the streets of Mondstadt. Luckily for you, I turned down Miss Charlotte's request to accompany me here, so you're unlikely to be seeing any scenes like that. Let's quietly celebrate this moment of peace. And on that note, I'd like a caramel blaze. That look on your face tells me you have a lot of questions you want to ask. Calm and effortless. I'm shocked to learn you're a real pro at this sort of thing.
Your caramel blaze is ready. Try not to drink it all in one go.
Huh. It sure lives up to its name. The color reminds me of a raging fire, while that aroma really hits you head on. It's quite strong. I'm all right. I just need a little time to get used to it. As I recall, the last time I drank alcohol was at a wine tasting event that Navia invited me to last year. I only had a small sip of Sassica wine, and it was nowhere near as strong as this concoction of yours. From a purely rational perspective, alcohol can cause dizziness and impair one's ability to work, so it's best avoided altogether. But when Miss Farina saw me off at the docks, she mentioned that Mondstadt is the land of wine and poetry. Since I'm here, I thought I should at least try the local specialties. In fact, Captain Eula, whom I sparred with earlier, has quite the refined taste for fine wine. She even gifted me a bottle of Romaritime flower fruit extract, which is no longer produced in Fontaine, and can now only be found overseas. Out of the utmost respect for her skills, I feel compelled to deepen my knowledge of Mondstadt's wines. I truly appreciate all the trouble you're going to. Huh? Does that mean she's already finished her commission? Well, she's certainly efficient. Once I return to Fontaine, perhaps I can let Sigewinne know that I'd be happy to purchase her latest perfume. I'm not sure I'd say that. On my way to Mondstadt, we happened to take the same boat. Naturally, we got to chatting. I've often heard Sigewinne praise her work. After conversing with her on the journey over, I must say, she is indeed a rare and refined individual. She's gentle and composed, yet keeps others at a distance. Perhaps it's due to her profession. I find this approach ideal. It allows one to maintain a lasting sense of inner peace. Oh, thank you, but there's really no need to set anything up. Our work rarely intersects, and our social circles hardly make for a Venn diagram, if you know what I mean. Best to just let things take their natural course. When I'm working, I often drink coffee. But with meals, I prefer a lighter tasting drink, like Buell fruit juice. Since I eat a lot of meat, the slight acidity of the juice helps balance out the greasiness. Over time, I've grown accustomed to the sour taste. After the swordsmanship exchange, the Knights of Favonius rather kindly treated me to some traditional Mondstadt cuisine. I had 8 different meat dishes, and all of them were excellent. The portions were huge, and only the highest quality cuts were used. Everything was cooked to absolute perfection. Of course, there was still room for improvement. When catering to tourists, the sticky honey roast and pile 'em up might benefit from a slightly lighter sauce. I've certainly tried all the red meat dishes. I think I've had enough calories to sustain 3 days of vigorous work, so I've had to decline all subsequent dining invitations. To be honest, I can still taste the grease. There must be a way to cleanse my palate. Indeed it is. The knights codenamed Hazelnut 3 and Hazelnut 5 gave me this crest. I must say, it's exquisite. They told me the design has only just been finalized. Apparently, it's only presented to important guests. They said they're making a badge for you, too, but it hasn't been finished yet. You're not wrong. I guess it's similar to how I can't remember the name of every clerk in the Palais Mermonia. But I'm certain you'll get to know them in time. They're clearly seasoned veterans. Even though they work desk jobs, they still turn up in full armor. After handling my affairs, they headed to the tavern for a gathering, saying they wanted to continue last night's duel and determine who had the highest alcohol tolerance. Drinking barrels of beer the night before, yet being able to work with clear minds the next day. Whew. So what you're saying is, while Mondstadters may seem carefree, they actually have an admirable ability to know their limits when it comes to drinking. I've seen a little. I took a stroll around the city the first day I got here. Navia's done some rather extensive research on this place. Many of the scenes and illustrations for the tabletop troupe were inspired by views of Mondstadt. However, the way she describes the atmosphere in her world building is quite different from the real Mondstadt. The deepest impression I've got since arriving here is one of swords and shields. Perhaps because I've mostly just visited the blacksmith and the training grounds. Recently, the newer weapons and armor produced in Mondstadt have been created using a completely different heat treatment process from those in Fontaine, with a higher carbon content in the surface layer. While this has slightly reduced their overall toughness, their impact resistance has greatly improved. These newer weapons give off a smell like overbrewed coffee. Perhaps it's because that scent gave me such a positive first impression. You see, Fontaine's signature metalwork is often coated with a protective agent that contains marcotte. Over time, the faint fragrance becomes overly sweet. And for some reason, it makes my teeth feel funny. I don't imagine the scent of Mondstadt's swords and shields would cause the same level of irritation. Of course, there is a solution to this problem. The next time you find yourself in Fontaine, there's another protective agent I can recommend. One that's as neutral as water, without any excess fragrance. If you also dislike being bombarded with sweetness, this protective agent should suit you well. Are you already planning the details of our hypothetical get-together? Based on my previous experiences with alcohol, I'd guess my tolerance is similar to Emily's. Fruit liqueur is probably my limit. So when the time comes, I think you'd be best off mixing similar drinks for the both of us. All right, I'll make sure I'm mentally prepared. Even if it's still a bit strong, I'll do my best to finish it.
All right, this new creation is called Leisure Time Lightning. A cocktail made exclusively for champion duelists. Enjoy.
Have you added fruit wine? It tastes wonderful. This is ideal for me. There's a subtle saltiness that combines well with the tartness of the fruit and the sweetness of the caramel. Each sip balances delicately on the edge of perfection. The color of the wine also fits well with the name, and the lightning imagery contrasts with the fiery nature of the caramel blaze. But where does the leisure time part come in? I see. That certainly matches the impression this cocktail gives me. Its unique aroma and taste will hold a special place in my memories of Mondstadt. Do you think, if the chance were to present itself, you'd be interested in mixing drinks somewhere else? A cafe, for instance, or the Hotel de Boer? Mostly for Navia and Miss Farina's sake. Though obviously I'd be more than happy to try more of your masterpieces myself. I understand. I won't try to strong-arm you. In any case, I truly appreciate your hospitality. Thanks to you, whether I'm summarizing the key lessons from my exchange with Miss Eula, or discussing strategy with the Knights of Favonius, I'll be in my best condition.
Huh? Is that Mr. Honorary Knight? Yippee! It's you! Auntie Eula told Klee that Miss Hertha had found someone amazing to help out. Seeing you here, Mr. Honorary Knight, Klee knows this must be the best drink stand in all of Teyvat. You mean this stand isn't already the best? Well, out of all the drink stands Klee's ever visited, Mr. Honorary Knight's is easily the best. And no matter what drinks Mr. Honorary Knight makes, Klee will definitely think they're yummy. Oh, you want me to be mean? But Klee could never be mean to you. Let me think. I know! I'll pretend to be Albedo! Whenever Albedo reviews Timaeus' work, his face goes super serious, and Klee can hear every word he says. Get ready for Klee's super amazing order! These past few days, I've been having such a blast with Mom all day long! It's been so much fun! Even being sent to solitary confinement couldn't wipe the smile off my face. So, Klee wants to order a fair weather frolic. Anything like a bright sunny day will definitely put Klee in a super duper mood. I wonder what it'll taste like.
your Fairweather Frolic is here. Go on, give it a try.
Wow! So, a Fairweather Frolic is this color? Purple sky. Is it supposed to be a bright, shiny night? Cleve will take a sip first. Then you can think about it more carefully. Ah, finished! Yummy! Both sweet and sour. If Clee drank this while eating grilled fish, I could definitely gobble down 2, or 3, or 4, or even 5! But one drink isn't enough. Clee wants to try a drink that tastes like cake. Clee doesn't know what drink to choose. Why don't we decide together, Mr. Honorary Knight? Three square meals? Clee often eats 5 meals a day, sometimes even 7. Adventuring takes a lot of energy, and if I eat too much at once, I can't run so well. So, it's better to eat lots of smaller meals. Albedo used to prepare all Clee's meals, and my lunchbox was always arranged so neatly, just like a pretty painting. When Albedo's busy at Dragonspine, Clee goes to eat with the other Knights of Favonius. Kaya's camp is usually the neatest, while Amber sometimes camps in the trees. It's so much fun. Oh, and Auntie Hertha makes the best food. When my mom comes back, there'll be even more yummy food to eat. There's this one dish where she takes loads of different fish and makes them into little pudding cubes. It's called rainbow fish jelly. Her Chococo Crunchy Slices are fantastic, too. It's her newest creation made with chocolate and cookies. They're a little bitter, but they're crunchy. They smell scrumptious, and they have a really sweet aftertaste. Whenever I eat them, I feel so full of energy. Next time, Clee will have to bring some for you to try. Yeah, when Clee gets back home, I'm gonna eat some salted nuts while reading my book. Clee used to eat cake after dinner, but Master Jean said it's too sugary, and it's not good to eat sugary things before bed. Apparently, it makes you chubby and gives you toothaches. So, Mom got some advice from Auntie Barbie, and now she gives me nuts instead. She says they help my brain remember things better. Nuts don't have much flavor. It's like chewing gone grass, but they're okay if you add a little salt. This stuff? Mom taught me how to make it using the alchemy bench. A dash of sugar, then a lot more sugar, then some flowers from Mom's friend in Fontaine, star honey from Auntie Barbie, and finally, some magical jam from Auntie Tavia. Put everything together on the alchemy table, wish for the shape you want, then recite Mom's incantation, and poof! Dodoko-shaped candy! Klee can give you some Dodoko candy too if you want. And if you really like them, I can even teach you my mom's incantation. That way, you can make your own candy whenever you want. If you get stuck, remember to come ask Klee. When it comes to magical candy, I'm an expert. Yeah, Mom gave me an amazing book recently. She said I have to read one chapter every night, learn something useful, and then go to bed early. That book taught Klee how to make something called propellant. Now Jumping Dumpty can go fwah, and bounce even higher. It's not hard at all. In fact, it's a lot like making bombs. You just have to be careful when trimming it down. It's like sharpening a pencil that could suddenly go boom. Bedtime's an important part of Klee's schedule, too. Mom sits by my side and tells me all kinds of wonderful stories. She has a lamp made of gemstones, and when she turns it on, it goes kabling and lights up the ceiling. Yeah! When something happens in the story, the lights on the ceiling make pretty pictures. Sometimes Mom falls asleep before the story ends, so Klee has to tuck her in instead. As soon as Klee learns how to use the lamp, I can come tell you stories, Mr. Honorary Knight. Klee has memorized so many wonderful stories, enough to make everyone happy every day. Oh yeah, Klee still wants to eat sweet things, like cake, for example. Maybe we could just go easy on the cream? Or add more fruit? Oh, right! That friend of Mom's who's always wearing glasses gave her a big bag of Fontanian Buell fruit. They're so round and rolly. Klee ate a whole bunch of those, and they were super sweet. But Master Jean said it was okay, because sweet fruit isn't the same as sweet sugar. So if Klee really has to eat nuts, maybe I can just soak them in some fruit juice first? yeah, that was quick. Klee's looking forward to finding out how tasty your next concoction is.
Ta-da! It's done! I just know you're going to love this new creation.
Wow! There's Dodoko candy on top! There's so much orange in this cup, and Dodoko looks like he's lying on top of white fluffy clouds. And the weather inside looks much better, too. Yummy! It's so delicious! Klee has to drink slowly. I can't just gulp it down, or I'll miss all the yummy flavor. Mr. Honorary Knight, this is amazing! It's like you mixed sunshine with juice! Klee was so tired from playing, but now I feel refreshed. And warm. And peaceful. Oh! You're the best, Mr. Honorary Knight. Really? Let me think. When the weather's nice and Dodoko's happy, Dodoko will want to sing, right? And when Dodoko sings, Klee wants to sing too. So, let's call it Dodoko's Duet. Thank you! And thanks for making such a yummy drink for Klee. Klee's gonna go tell Mom that the best drink in Mondstadt right now is Dodoko's Duet. Klee's gonna write down Mom's incantation and give you a copy, Mr. Honorary Knight. Then you should learn magic too, so you can make all the candies you want. See you next time!
So Hertha's even roped our honorary knight into helping with this little venture. Now that I'm finally free to relax, it's time to start doing just that. Can't wait to see your skills in action. Give me something that goes well with casual conversation, but still packs a punch. Of course they don't clash. A drink that packs a punch means you have to drink it slowly. And if you want to chat, then it has to go down smooth. So, something with a sweet aftertaste. A conversational connoisseur requires the perfect balance. The most suitable choice on this menu would be the Thorny Lake. It's a drink with a real kick that you can find in almost every bar. It's not enough to know the recipe, though.
The key is in the mixing. Some bartenders choose to stick to the tried and tested basics, while others like to add their own personal flair. That's the spirit. Now, show me what you've got.
Grandmaster, I hereby present you with this thorny lake for your enjoyment and assessment.
Well, the color and aroma are certainly on point. But as for the balance of flavors, I'll just have to taste it and find out. Not bad. You haven't overdone or skimped on any single ingredient. Though, unfortunately, it's a little too, polite for my tastes. Perhaps I should have said modest. You followed the formula to a T, but if anything, you've played it a little too safe. Were you worried that deviating just a little might disappoint me? Hey, we fought side by side and dealt with things that even gods were loath to meddle with. Ours is a friendship forged in the margins between life and death. That said, if you ask me, you can ditch the nerves and work your mixologist magic. I'm looking for something that shocks the senses. Mull it over. There's no rush. We can chat while you think. Who knows? You might just find some inspiration to mix in with your magic. I like your style. Speaking of this garden, it brings back memories of something that happened many years ago. When I was young, I like to find ruined guards to test my fighting skills, both armed and unarmed. Once, I failed to take down a stray missile, and it ended up destroying a watchtower on the city walls. As punishment, I had to run 50 laps around the city, repair the watchtower, and help rebuild the shattered walls in this garden. Indeed, among the misadventures of my youth, this is one of the most memorable ones. Mostly because that day, Crepus saw me covered in dirt. He took 2 bottles of 100-year-old wine and sent D-Luke, who looked even younger than Mika does today, to work out a clever way to get rid of Faru, who was guarding me. It was so hot that day, I could swear I was about to pass out. On a whim, I picked some mint leaves, put them in one of the wine bottles, and the result turned out to be surprisingly tasty. After Crepus tried it too, he was full of praise. He even wrote up an official recipe for my spontaneous creation. His customers loved it. Several summers passed, and Crepus kept writing letters about giving me a share of the profits, as though I could possibly accept. Yes, good old Crepus. Faru retired years ago, but he still gives me a stern stare every time we meet. He's a stubborn one. Diluc, who replaced him, and then Kaya, who took over later, both performed impeccably. Changing times will always belong to the youth. He should have admitted defeat long ago. When I get the chance, I'll have Kaya show him the amazing progress the cavalry company has made. Well, let me think. I guess you could say it lacks impact. Even when following the same recipe, the techniques used to mix different ingredients can affect the taste. Sometimes, deliberately creating layers between spirits can bring out the different waves as each one hits the taste buds in sequence. In this regard, too, you've taken quite a tentative approach. Why not be a little bolder? Ha ha ha. You catch on quickly. No need to explain further. Pretty awesome, huh? It's like a hammerhead that you can fill with wine when you're not using it to pound in nails. It was a gift. Hoffman came up with the idea, Charles supplied the design, Wagner helped cast it, and about 10 or so knights chipped in to pay for the materials. They've been waiting to have a good drink with me, and this is my crucial weapon to aid me in a fair duel with them all. I'm the Grand Master, after all. I've been drinking a lot longer than them. I've practiced more assiduously, and I have a bit more meat to absorb the blows. So it's only fair to my subordinates that I drink a teensy bit more per round. Wouldn't you agree? Of course, some of them have been training as long as I have, and those ones won't be getting any special treatment. Take Hazelnut 3 and Hazelnut 5, for example. Both were skilled warriors who helped me deal with Eric back in the day. But nowadays, I have them helping Jean with miscellaneous duties. At today's after-work cooldown, they insisted on trying to keep pace. In the end, they lost our game of darts and ended up passed out on the floor. I've already told Jean that I won't be approving their leave request for tomorrow, no matter what. It's a treasured place that the Knights of Favonius have maintained for years, so it makes sense that it's become the go-to location for organizing such things. I heard that while the expedition was underway, you were a great help in giving those left behind the opportunity to put their energy to good use. Sometimes, I look through the photos I've been given from those events, though unfortunately, there aren't enough to include everybody. My conclusion is that Mondstadt needs to do more to popularize the camera. If I were in charge of organizing events? Well, I suppose everyone would revolve around fine wine, or at the very least, there would be some sort of tasting involved. For example, we could go all in on this drink stand and open it to the whole city, with every company of the night selecting one or more mixologists to compete against each other. It's only a thought. Can't let things get too out of hand. If I were to actually throw a grand banquet, Jean would come after me with her sword drawn. Even Frederica would launch a punitive expedition. While in Nod-Krai, we had a rule that knights must never get drunk while at their posts. Otherwise, it could lead to dereliction of duty with serious consequences. Exactly. As expedition members return to their companies, my hope is that this rule will gradually spread to everyone in Mondstadt too. Just like firewater and smetana, these Nod-Krai delicacies have made their way into Mondstadt's households and become part of people's daily lives. Young people need to learn restraint. At the end of the day, no one should be biting off more than they can chew. Unless it's someone near my level, they shouldn't even be thinking about enjoying a light buzz when they've still got work to do. Most people would just end up a whole lot drunker than they'd like. You should come practice with me on weekends. Trust me, once I've drunk them under the table, they'll be swearing off wine for a whole week. Oh, feel free. Whatever you're about to do, I've got a feeling I've hit the jackpot.
Here you go, Grandmaster. A cocktail just for you. I guarantee you won't find this one too polite.
Such a spirited drink. How did you make this? Well, that burning scent of firewater. Oh, it's as if the very air were about to ignite. This is more like it. perfection. It's clear that once you let go of your inhibitions, your talents really shine through. That first hint of mint is like a cooling feint that masks the firewater underneath. By the time the sweetness dissipates, the firewater has already slipped in behind your guard, ready to deliver a powerful strike of intense flavor. Oh, it's exactly the impact I was hoping for. That's the most ingenious part. Firewater's greatest flaw is a lack of aftertaste, but the Smetana perfectly maintains the flavor at the peak of its intensity. It's hard to imagine something this good was created by a mixologist who doesn't even drink firewater. I think it has the potential to become a firm favorite in Mondstadt and Nod-Krai. Iron Wolf. Oh, perfect. It's elegant, yet wild. Only you could come up with such a fitting name. Oh, I have an idea. Why don't we name our Knights of Favonius' drink stand after you? Let's call it the Honorary Knights Cocktail Shack. No time to waste. I'll go have a word with Glenfiddich right away.
Hey there, traveler! All wrapped up for the day? Paimon hears you did a great job holding down the fort while she was out delivering drinks with Glenfiddich.
Whatever the reason, the Honorary Knight is clearly one of the most talented mixologists in Mondstadt. Considering how short a time he's been doing this, I believe that someday he has the potential to give the legendary bartender at the Cat's Tail a run for her money.
I fully support your decision, Grandmaster. The Honorary Knight has really put in the hard yards. The drink stand will remain open for a little while longer to provide a proper welcome to our returning expedition members. Then, once we locate suitable premises, we also plan to look at operating a permanent service.
Hooray! Everyone in the Knights of Favonius will get to drink all the delicious cocktails they like!
Nothing short of what I'd expect from a true disciple of Hertha. You've really considered this thoroughly, Glenfiddich.
Also, if I may, Honorary Knight, regarding the special cocktails you've developed, would you mind leaving the recipes with us? We'd like to add them to the official menu.
Paimon feels like there's something you still want to say. Let Paimon have a guess. Based on your personality, you probably want to introduce the origin of each different cocktail. That way, customers will know who inspired you to create these amazing drinks.
No problem at all. If you need, I can even have someone draft the paperwork on your behalf to secure you the rights to these new recipes.
I hope when we recruit some new bartenders, they'll be able to learn from your incredible skills. Even if they can't quite match your work, if they could be 2/3 as good, that would still make them industry leaders.
The incident in Nod-Krai? Don't tell me something bad happened again.
Hold that pose!
Well, Mr. Flint, now we're completely out of options. Who on earth came up with the idea to have Miss Aino attend the big meeting at headquarters? It couldn't possibly have been her request, could it?
It was me.
You? Please tell me this is part of some new trick.
It certainly is. When a solitary leaf takes to the breeze, it cannot fail but draw the eye. Yet when a multitude of leaves depart in unison, the singular form can no longer be distinguished. Sharp as ever, I see. Still, I must express my great regret for being unable to participate in such an enlightening assembly.
Be that as it may, Mr. Flint, look at all the autumn leaves in this building. I imagine all of them would love to fly away quickly. I can already imagine all their excuses. Stomach aches, headaches, outstanding assignments, emergency deployments. Nope, they've used up all the excuses and left none for me. I mean, good heavens. We once had 20 Ratniki down with stomach aches, 15 who hurt their legs in a fall, 6 struck by fevers, and 8 with urgent matters to attend to. If an outsider saw this, they'd think our headquarters had been raided by the Wild Hunt.
In all fairness to them, if this place were genuinely to face a sudden incursion of the Wild Hunt, I am confident that they'd be here in full force.
Very funny, sir, but I have no intention of attending a meeting with the Wild Hunt.
And neither do I. Yet, as we both know, the Wild Hunt seem to have a special fondness for playing the part of uninvited guests.
Anyhow, I'm usually the only one left in the entire meeting room. And then, I still have to deliver the meeting minutes to the absentees after it's done.
Then I must extend my sincere gratitude for your efforts.
Could you come by yourself next time, then?
As I said before, such frustrations likewise possess an uncanny propensity to show up without invitation.
When can this poor leaf finally drift away?
No need to drift away completely. Just a little further than the nearest leaf.
Thank you, but I'm the leaf nearest to you, aren't I?
Rest assured, young master, we'll all make landfall together. Besides, I'm inclined to believe that no autumn leaf ever falls where it shouldn't.
All right, let me think. My stomach doesn't hurt. My legs are fine, I don't have a fever, and I've no urgent matters to attend to.
Sounds like you're doing pretty well then, all in all.